Hi and welcome to the Momversation Club, the podcast born out of the idea that every mom needs a tribe. I'm Claire Strong.
And I'm Christina Struckmeyer. We're two moms just like you, navigating the chaotic, challenging, and often isolating world of motherhood.
Yep, and it can be a very lonely one, but we want to know, where the F is the village? It's said that it takes a village to raise a child, but we're still wondering where the heck that is.
It's a question that resonates with so many of us who find ourselves raising children, managing careers, and trying to maintain our own identities, often with a sense of isolation.
But we're here to remind you that you're not alone. The Momversation Club is your village, a place where you feel valued, appreciated, and understood.
We believe by sharing our experiences, successes, and struggles, we can create a virtual village for all of you mamas out there.
So join us every week for an honest, raw, and relatable discussion about all aspects of motherhood, including the parts that you just don't want to talk about with anyone else.
So if you've ever asked yourself, where the F is the village? Well, then you've found your tribe. Let's get into it. Hey, what's going on? How are you doing, Claire?
I'm doing good. How are things your end?
Things are going well. I've been thinking since our last recording about like what my mom win of the week is going to be. And it's hard to think of those. I feel like those fails are so much easier.
Oh my God, they are. Maybe that's a reflection of our negative way of thinking, though. Maybe we have to think of things more positively and then we'd have an easier time with this. But yeah, mum win of the week. Well, I want to hear yours. What is it?
Yeah, I think it sounds like a fail. I think my mom win of the week is my daughter, Stella. I've mentioned she has autism.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been working really hard on when she's very, very upset to use her words and to because her vocabulary is coming in and her growth in that space is so much better. And last night she was getting on my last nerve. I think I had told her, listen, if you don't start brushing your teeth, I'm going to take away your doll. I'm going to take away your show. I'm just we're going to take away all these things. So maybe that's my fail. So let's just kind of double this. That's my fail is kind of losing my cool a little. But I said, all right, that's it. You're not going to be able to watch your show that you get to watch every night before bed. And she goes, can I have one more chance?
Oh my God.
And I thought, oh man, that's a win, because that speech of being able to just let me vocalize it is a big deal. And she just tears in her eyes. Can I have one more chance? I'm like, yes, you can, because you asked with your words. Yes.
Oh my God, that's really sweet, and I'd say that's a win. I know what you mean about you losing your cool, but that is so easy to do, I've got to say. In fact, let me start with my fail first, because
okay,
that is exactly what I did. I had an incident driving one of my daughters to school this morning, and we were running late, not because of me, but because someone wasn't ready. And I know that I shouldn't do this, because I will put her in a bad mood for school. I'll put her in the wrong headspace, and then she's going to have a bad day. And so I try to save that conversation for after school, when we're not stressed and in a rush to get somewhere. But I couldn't help myself. So I kind of lost it a little bit, and I know not to do it. That's disappointing on my part. I'm the adult in the room. I know that that's not at the appropriate place and time to have that conversation. But anyhow, so to categorize it, losing my shit was also my fail this week. And now my win is a funny one, because this almost was a catastrophic fail, but it was a save. Oh my God. So bear with me. We were leaving to go to the beach the other day. When I say we, it was my husband and I. The girls were doing something else. Anyway, he had parked the car on the driveway, and we'd loaded the car up with beach chairs and whatever. I hadn't got in the car at this point. I was doing something in the garage, and he stepped out of the car, but totally forgot that he'd left the car in bloody reverse and the engine was on. And so the car, it was like something out of a film. It was horrendous. Oh yeah, it started reversing obviously on its own, and it went around the corner, and I was like, oh my God. I was paralyzed. I didn't know what to do. Luckily, he ran after the car, and he was able to open the door and get control of the car. But thank God, so this is where the win comes in. Thank God there were no people, kids, dogs, or cars in its path, because that could have been terrible. So that was
my God, Claire,
a catastrophic fail. I know, but someone was looking over us that day. So that's my,
It reminds me of that movie. You ever see that movie, Claire? Speed with
yes,
Keanu Reeves,
yes,
where like
yes,
they have to get onto the moving bus, they cannot slow down
yes,
because the
just
bus
like that.
like run
Just
in
like,
and like.
but then unfortunately, my husband's suffering with plantar fasciitis right now, and that really sparked it off. So I did say to him,
Ah.
darling, in the grand scheme of things, your foot hurting is probably like the best outcome. So
I
just,
mean,
just
yeah,
keep
it could have
with it.
been much, much worse. That's
I
what you get for
know.
going to the beach, Claire. I
Oh my
I
God.
gotta let you in on something. I know you're in San Diego and it's like a thing and you love the
Yeah,
beach.
yeah.
True life, I hate the beach.
What do you hate about it? I know what you're going to say. The sand.
It's the sand, but
Yeah.
it's also like I also don't like the ocean. I have a fear of open water.
Okay.
Um and then it's just the expectation versus the reality of the beach. Like
So
you
we
go,
need to
"Oh, let me put a
have,
picnic blanket down and we'll
yeah.
have a nice little day." And then everybody's eating sand, people are upset, like people are wet. It's a whole thing.
So we need to have a conversation on a different episode about this because it's the idea is great, and I've got to say it is my happy place. I feel very tranquil that actually I'm very productive at the beach. I actually work on our podcast when I'm at the beach. I find it,
Really?
yeah, I do. I find
Are you by
myself.
yourself or are you with children?
So, well, I mean, it depends. Sometimes I'm just with my husband and he's listening to his like football podcast or whatever. So, I mean, he's not, really that present. So that's fine because I'm doing my own thing and I've got a kombucha in one hand and I've got my notepad in the other on my phone and I'm working. So I actually find the beach very productive. But I know what you're
Yeah.
saying. And especially when the kids were younger, it's such a it's such a farce with the sand and everything. The
It
car
gets
gets covered in
everywhere.
sand.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it's
god.
work. It's work. But yeah, so
I love your San Diegoism of like the kombucha on the beach. Like you're so
oh
SoCal.
my god, am I really? Oh, my friends back in England are going to be like, for God's sake, what's happened to her? Where's the Yorkshire girl gone?
Oh my gosh. Well, fun stuff. Well, I'm glad that you had your happy place and I'm glad no one was like ran over by the runaway
Oh my
car. That's a
god,
good
seriously, it took us
situation.
about an hour to calm down. Honestly, Christina, like I was on edge for about an hour after that. Seriously, as you
Oh
can
my god.
imagine. Good
Yeah,
lord.
I can't. I would have a heart attack. I don't even know. Like that's
I
insane.
nearly did. I nearly did. Goodness
Ugh.
me. So, what are we chatting about today, lady?
Yeah, so I was recently inspired for today's topic by TikTok, which is my ultimate pastime. I don't know about you, but I love to disassociate on TikTok. My
Mhm.
algorithm knows me better than my therapist. It's such
Yeah.
a wonderful space. And I recently happened upon a woman talking about her experience kind of taking in stay-at-home moms, and I'm a recent stay-at-home mom, but I've always been like a working mom. I've always been work outside the home, work, from home. This is new to me. And I'm noticing that my perspective of myself has been shifting, people's perspective of me. And this woman was talking about how women who are stay-at-home moms often refer to themselves as full-time stay-at-home moms, implying that they're working a job and that it really shouldn't be said in that way because it does a disservice to the women who are working outside the home, who are expected to be working a 9 to 5 or maybe even more alongside being a mom. And it just got me thinking, like, first off, why so divisive? Secondly, oh man, what a good topic to talk about, kind of like the mommy wars of like stay-at-home mom versus working mom. And I know we both have like that experience in common.
We do. But here's what I'll say first off the bat: women need to be supportive of each other, first and
Yeah.
foremost. I don't care whether you're working or whether you're at home because we all need to have each other's back. So I don't like the fact there was, that Twitter, not Twitter war, but the war on TikTok. I don't like that because that to me, look, being a mom is hard enough. Being a woman is hard enough. It's still not an even playing field. It just is not. It isn't. And so I think we just need to be respectful and supportive of each other. Now, I've
Yeah.
been a stay at home mum and a working mum, and they're both hard. And when you're a stay-at-home mum, you feel like you're not being successful enough. You're not earning money. You're not. In my case, I felt like I wasn't setting a good example to my girls because I don't. I want them to aspire to be, you know, career people themselves in whatever way that takes, in whatever shape that takes. And so it's kind of one of these situations where you can't win because you do
Yeah.
one thing and that's not right. You do the other thing and that's not right. But when I was a full-time working mum and I was a single mum at that point too, I was very conflicted because I felt that on the one hand, I had this, really fabulous career with the BBC. That's when I was working as a reporter and an anchor for them back in England. And so I loved my job and I was good at my job. But then I can't do the things that some of my friends were doing because they were at home. So I'd miss stuff at school. I could never do pickup. My dad at the
Yeah.
time used to do that. And so you feel like almost like half a month, you feel like you're not great at anything because you're juggling so much. So I've been in both of those camps, and I would honestly say I would like to see mums just raise each other up, whether they're working or not. It doesn't mean to say the stay-at-home mums have it easy because they don't. Because
Yeah.
let's face it, being a stay-at-home mum is a thankless job.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I know. Well, you get
It's
hugs and kisses, but, like, there's not there's
well,
not a lot of, "Wow,
you
great
may be
job, mom."
speak for yourself. I got
Yeah,
teenagers.
yeah,
Those are
yeah, but there's not, like, a lot of, "Wow, mom, that PB&J gold stars, like,
of course
so
there
good."
Of course there isn't. So, that is a thankless job. And then I found myself in the periods where I haven't been working, and this is on me. This is my
Mhm.
issue. But then I compare myself to other women who are working and who are successful in a working space, in a professional space. And then I'm thinking maybe I'm not good enough and I can't compete with them. So I don't
Yeah.
know what the easy answer to this is, other than let's just have each other's backs.
Well, I think what you just said, the comparison, right? I think that's where this all stems from. Because when I'm looking at this stuff online and I look in the comments, my favorite part of TikTok is the comments, by the way. I
Oh, I
love
look
the
at
comment
comments on
section.
any platform. In fact, I look at the headline of a story and then I go straight to comments.
I wanna know. I wanna and they're often funnier than the video itself, like, it's
Yeah,
just anyways. But,
yeah.
I noticed that most of the back and forth kind of, like, tit for tat is it was women. It was women talking to women who were, you know, having feelings about very strong feelings. And I think it comes from a comparison place because I remember I was lucky enough to work from home when my, older daughter, who's 8 now, when she was a baby, and I did advertising for a local parenting magazine, and I remember working from home and feeling, like I felt elite. But I also felt like, jealous of the moms who were at Mommy and Me and playgroup because I was able to go to Mommy and Me, but I couldn't go to, like, the after meetup at the playground because I had to work. And then I was able to be at, like, the thing that they're doing in town, like a little festival or something, but I couldn't do lunch with the girls. Like, there was these, like, places where I wasn't able to do things. And then the stay-at-home moms, I mean, some of those women are so good at momming. Like, I just felt like, I was really catty towards one of the moms, and she might even be listening to this.
Really?
I
Well,
was
that
really
shocks
catty,
me.
and
Wow.
I think I've grown a lot, like, since then, but, like, back then, she was a mom who really I think she enjoyed being a mom in a way that maybe she was trying to do better than her mother, or maybe she felt like that, maybe she truly enjoyed it, but she would do things like, "I got everyone engraved elves that have each of your children's name, and here's a little bucket of candy for Christmas." And I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, this gal is so extra. Like, look at all of this stuff that she does." And it was coming from a place of, I don't have capacity to do that. And so now I'm feeling inadequate. And so I have to, like, mentally tear this person down so that I feel better about what I'm doing because I feel not enough.
I think we all do that, and I think we do it not just in this instance as well. I think it's a default setting where you may not say anything to that person, but certainly internally you're thinking, "Oh, there's something, they're not doing that right. Oh, that's because it's this." And it makes you feel less inadequate. Not that
Totally.
you're inadequate to start with. That's an us thing that I think everyone feels in lots of different situations, but I think it's definitely applicable to this for sure.
I still find myself doing it, but the difference is now is I realize it. I'm aware of it and I go, "Ooh, don't do that. That's so ugh." Like, no one likes that. Um And I try to like stop that thought because it comes up even more now, like where my kids are older and it's like, oh, so and so has her kids in this class and that class, and like, what do they do with their time? Like it's just very you can get into that space of comparison. And I've been a stay-at-home mom now. I've been a working mom, I've been a work from home mom. It's all difficult. And if stay-at-home moms wasn't a job, why are we paying someone to watch our kids when we can't, when we're unable to, when we're working? I remember having a very great relationship with my childcare provider when I was working outside the home. And I felt fine to pay her because she earned every cent because it's freaking hard.
It's really hard. And that's another interesting point. If you were to add up, I don't know what the minimum wage is here. Let's say it's $20 an hour. If you were to add up the hours that a stay-at-home mum puts in, my God, they would be millionaires. Because literally, from the second you get up to the second you go to bed, you are on. There's no
Yeah.
breaks. There's no pats on the backs from colleagues. There's no anything. In fact, you're dealing with shit. You're putting out shit shows right, left,
It's
and
like
centre.
literal shit.
Well, your situation, literal. I remember those, literal. But mine's more the hypothetical now. Mine is
Yeah.
more the she said that, I said she did that. No, World War III scenarios, generally over like makeup or clothes. Oh God, clothes are like the big trigger in my house. She's got my hoodie. So I dealt with that. But if you were to add up, if you were to like put a monetary value on being a staying at home mum, you would be earning well into the six figures, like over a million each year. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, what do you think the ideal is? We're talking about stay at home versus working mums and the different challenges that both face. What's the perfect balance?
I think that whatever your family needs from you in that moment, what financially and mentally makes sense is probably the best fit. But I have a strong belief that women specifically need to have their own passions and their own identity outside of motherhood. So, I'm a stay at home mom. Um, and I've recently left like a work from home position. And, but I have this passion project that is fully mine. It's not my husband's, it's not my family's, it's mine. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that to survive motherhood, you have to have identity outside of that. Otherwise, you just become like a snack bitch.
Yeah,
So you have to like have something.
you do. And if you do have that thing, or it could be a few things, and it doesn't have to be something that even earns you money. If you're in a position where you don't
No.
necessarily need the income, but you have a passion, continue it, because that helps with we mentioned the almost like bitterness that we can feel towards other women who are doing things better than maybe we are in our head. Well,
Yeah.
if you've got something that you have an outlet, you have something to focus your energy on, you don't feel as inadequate because you're fulfilled. You're distracted a little bit because you know when you haven't got anything going on for you, it's very, very easy to feel like you're invisible, and that's not
Yeah.
good for self-confidence. So
Yeah.
I'm with you 100%. Even if it's not something that you're getting paid for, if you are at home through choice or through necessity, because let's face it, childcare is extremely expensive. I mean, for some people, and this was actually my situation for a few years, it's not a choice whether you work or not work. If you cannot afford the childcare and you are a single parent, for example, it sometimes does not make financial sense for you to work because you are literally paying someone. You may be not even be able to afford to pay that person if you're having them full time to watch your
Yeah.
child while you're at work. So that's an important point. Some of
Yeah.
the mums that are at home, Christina, it's not necessarily through choice. It's
No,
through
absolutely. So I live in a farm in kind of the middle of nowhere in Northern California. And something I've experienced both here and in other rural parts of this area is that there also is childcare deserts where like there's no childcare even if you wanted to. Even if
yeah.
you wanted to work, there's nowhere nearby. Or if there is something, it's not a place where you'd feel safe to bring your children and like, be able to like rest assured they're being taken care of while it's like this situation with this lady who watches kids sometimes like is like
Oh,
be able to
oh,
watch your kid.
yeah, you've got to be 100% okay with whoever's watching your kid. And then the
Yeah.
other elements to mention when it comes to childcare or lack thereof, a lot of childcare providers left that profession during COVID and they haven't returned
Yeah.
because the pay's not great. And so there's, a premium, and it's very difficult to get childcare. So you could be on a
Yeah.
list for a year or longer to get your child into
Yeah.
somewhere. So it's very complex. But yeah, it's a very interesting discussion. I'd love to hear
Yeah.
what you guys think at home.
Yes.
Let us know, are you a stay-at-home parent or are you a working mum or do you do both? Are you working part-time and then the rest of the time running after the kids? We'd love to hear how that works for you, what your views are on that. And that brings us to the end of another episode of the Momversation Club.
And if you've enjoyed today's show, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a review. Your support helps us reach even more moms and build our village.
And remember, we're here for you. And together, I promise, we'll figure out where the F that village is at.
See you next time.